Well, just a quick video because I'm on break and it's already starting. So we see Biden is ahead on these current situations going forward with the primaries. So apparently they figured out, now anybody with any sense knows Biden has dementia or Alzheimer's or something, and he's not fit mentally. They know that. Anybody with half a brain knows that's true, but they're going to do it anyway because they probably got somebody in the background that can run the country, and whatever. They figured Biden was behind, and it was looking like he wasn't going to have a chance, but they figured out let's go with it because everybody else, people are more scared of communism than Alzheimer's apparently. So they'll probably try to throw some kind of thing with the vice president. They'll do something. They've got a plan. So anyway, if that's why they got everybody to throw behind Biden. They know that even though all Democrats are socialists, all Democrats want to push socialism, they know that they're not supposed to admit it yet. So that's the plan. Now that said, here's the other part of the plan. What you see going on now, already starting, is the narrative that the Democrats are going to use if they lose. It's called voter suppression. They're starting the voter suppression narrative. And so right now they're going to keep saying it even though it makes no fucking sense. What are you suppressing? If you're how are you today? Okay, there's a lawsuit I read in Nashville or Tennessee. We've had like 20-something polling places damaged because we had tornadoes yesterday, okay, or the night before. So we're not trying to suppress the vote here. It's that we have problems with our town right now. So they're trying to make it out that we're suppressing the vote. Suppressing the vote of what? Think about that. This is how they say bullshit, and it gets said repeated and repeated and repeated until you think it's something real. It's this test run. What would you be suppressing? It's Democrat versus Democrat. You're not suppressing. I mean, this is for people who are stupid and don't think about the political process. It's like, they're trying to get the Trump in there by doing this. How is that going to help Trump? Okay. How are we suppressing the vote now? Because this is people going out to vote for Democrats, the Democratic primary. This is for the Democratic candidate. It's not a Democrat versus Republican thing. So how would we be suppressing the Democrats against the Democrats? You're not really. It's not really suppressing the vote. Okay. So they're going to say that they're already coming up, and you got to think about how dumb that is to just take that at face value. Like you're helping. How are we helping? You're trying to help Donald Trump by voter suppression. And see, they'll say it now when it's just a Democratic primary, so they'll keep saying it and saying it and saying it until it becomes the norm and the story. If anything goes wrong and they don't win the election, then they will say voter suppression. They're always going to have a story. It's Russia, voter suppression. That Russia story, now that we know for a fact, that was already thought out ahead of time. That was what they were going to say if they lost, and that's what they're going to say this time is voter suppression, and they're going to hope Trump says something to make fun of Biden about Alzheimer's, and then try to use that. He's making fun of people with dementia or Alzheimer's and all of it. So they're waiting on him to say something wrong about Biden, and it's all set up. It's a setup. Just whether you are Democrat or Republican, think about how dumb that is to say that they're suppressing the vote this early. Because, like I said, what are they suppressing? They're all Democrats. So where's the suppression? What would you accomplish? See what I'm saying? Because they're still going to be a Democrat no matter what picked. So what's the end game there? So that said, there you go. Get ready to hear it. Get ready to, and they're going to start that, and they're going to probably try to pull a shitload of voter fraud off this year. So anyway, just a heads up. And like I said, when you see the voter fraud and voter suppression thing, if you're like a so-called independent and you're saying, why are they doing that? Think about, they're really not. There would be no point in doing it. So don't just immediately buy into what you hear. Realize that what you hear a lot of times, even if it's said at the wrong time, like it is inappropriately timed to be said, they're going to say it to get it in people's heads, just like they do in NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. like I said, study what NLP is. Everything they do has an NLP or brainwashing, hypnosis type system behind it. They research how to say things. They research when to say things. They research when to put things in people's heads. It's all like advertising. It is all a system that is put together by people. Everything's planned out, just like every TV show you see is planned out. Every movie you see is planned out. Every bit of that stuff is the script. Who's in the script, what race that person is in the script, when that person fails, when that person succeeds. All that is figured out in a television script, for example, or a movie script. It's all scripted, and they script everything, including what the news media starts to say is scripted. If they start these voter suppression accusations early, it will become something that people will assume has been going on a long time, and they'll say, oh, it's been going on forever. This has been going on this entire election. And even though it wouldn't be, it's like saying the word gerrymandering when it doesn't apply to the case. There's so many times they say words that don't apply. It just doesn't work that way. It's not the right word for what they're trying to say, and they say it anyway, and people say, oh, that's what that is. Well, that doesn't apply to that particular race. You can't do it in that particular race. So just keep in mind that they know that the average person, even people, dumbasses like Joy Behar will go on The View and say, oh, we have voter suppression. And it's like, there was so much voter suppression during 2020. And he'd be like, well, what do you mean? The voter suppression now? Why would you do that? It makes no sense. Democrat versus Democrat. What would you suppress? Like I said, how are you? They're all still Democrats voting, so you're not suppressing anything in favor of Trump. So, like I said, they're starting now. So get ready for it. And when people say things to you, tell them the normal shit. Make them think. The problem is they're not thinking about what they're really hearing, and they get so used to hearing it. But I know it's hard to argue with these people because they're so convinced. It's like yesterday, like I said, I got in a gun control argument. I gave this guy all these things to look at, and he wouldn't look at a damn thing and just said, you're convinced of your argument. Well, apparently he's convinced. He wouldn't even answer my questions. So there you go. So you guys have a great day.